Good morning, and welcome to another edition of Inside Cape Cod. I'm Mina Greene. I have the pleasure of having Representative Stephen Xiarhos with me this morning, and you are here to talk about one of your favorite subjects and mine, Nick's Big Ride.
Absolutely,
that time of year already.
It's amazing, yeah. Can you imagine? 15 years.
15 years. It just doesn't seem that long.
It doesn't.
No.
In many ways, it feels like yesterday, and then sometimes it feels like a long time.
Yeah.
It's been quite a journey.
Yes, and we are talking about Nick. It was
Yeah.
wonderful. You want to tell folks who might not know?
Yes.
Please
Nicholas George Xiarhos, my firstborn son,
Mm-hmm.
born February 12th, 1988, born and raised here on Cape Cod Hospital, went to all the DY schools, and just a good kid. You learn more afterwards. But basically, he was like people's big brother, like a protector,
Right.
and good-hearted. Played sports. Wasn't the best player, but always made sure that the players were taking care of each other. Like all these things I saw, but you hear more about afterwards.
Of course.
And then on September 11th, when we were attacked, he was 12, and he said, "Dad, I'm gonna fight for my country." I remember that moment, and he said, "I'm gonna be a Marine."
Wow.
And he graduated high school, and 5 days later he was at boot camp. He earned the title of United States Marine on September 22nd, 2006. We were there. It's one of those special things I've ever seen in my life. And he went off to fight in Iraq on the ground, infantry grunt, and made it home, thank God. He was almost killed, but 2 Marines saved his life and died doing it. And then he volunteered to go to Afghanistan.
Right.
And we knew that was going to be bad.
It was a really bad situation.
It was summer of 2009. It's called Summer of Decision. President Obama decided to send 12,000 Marines to Afghanistan at once. It's called a MEB. It's only happened once since Vietnam. And they all went. And that first month of July was horrible. And we lost Nick on July 23rd.
And you have turned that tragedy into something wonderful.
We have,
Because he deserves to be remembered and honored for all that he did.
He's a
everyone.
hero. He's a hero, and so is all the others.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes this ride special. It's Big Nick's Ride for the Fallen, all the fallen. We've lost 16 on Cape Cod in this longest war. Thank
Right.
God it's over, but it's the longest war in American history, 20 years of fighting. And we lost 16 with ties to Cape Cod, so we always honor them. We have their families in Jeeps in the front, Gold Star Jeeps, and then 1,000 motorcycles from all over the world.
Yes. It's an
Yeah.
incredible sight to see.
It's
it really
it's
is.
to see it, to feel it, to be in it. I go from proud to crying to proud.
Of course you do.
Yeah, all these emotions, because it's 1,000 motorcycles going 35 miles from Bourne, the Sheriff's Department, right by the National Cemetery. Our only national cemetery in Massachusetts is in Bourne.
That's right.
And then we go along the canal and along 6A and then end up back in Yarmouth. And there are thousands of people lining the route, saluting, praying, crying, waving flags. It's very powerful. And what I've realized, it's a way to say thank you.
It is. For all that these young men and women do.
Yes, they do. They did, and they always will. Will always protect freedom, and it comes at a cost. We've lived it, but also we honor those that made it home.
Yes.
We have to help these young men and women that made it home. They live with sometimes the invisible scars of war, or the visible. They've lost arms, legs, blinded. It comes at a big cost, and they need to be respected and loved. And I've learned more about what they did, and we're very fortunate we didn't lose more. It was a really horrible summer of 2009.
It was very tough. Very tough on a lot of families, and we lost a lot of good people.
Yes.
And it is amazing that you've put this beautiful thing together, which
Yeah,
you have. Now,
yeah, we have.
What
And
is the date this year?
This year, it's Sunday, July 21st.
All right.
Yes.
So that's going to be a week from today.
Yeah, it's pretty big, and people can come out and watch, or they can ride. We ask for a $20 contribution.
There you go.
Every penny goes into the Nicholas Xiarhos Memorial Fund, which is managed by the Cape Cod Foundation. Every penny. We're an all-volunteer organization. No one is paid. There's people that come from all over we meet every month. It's a lot of work to make this day happen.
Sure.
And people, we've become family. Yeah, strangers have become family. And many of them never met Nick.
Right. But it doesn't matter because they know of him and they know what he did for his country and for his family and for everything.
And
so as they have.
Yes. And that's right. There's a lot of loss and a lot of sacrifice since day one. Remember, I always say, I'm a proud Massachusetts man. I'm born and raised in Massachusetts. We started American freedom. We did. But it comes at a cost. We've lost 36,000 Massachusetts men and women. And they all need to be remembered and honored.
Yep. And they will be.
Yes.
On the 21st.
Yes.
Next week. It's incredible. Now, once again, tell everybody where the route is. Now, you're starting from the Barnstable County Sheriff's Office.
Yes, we round the prison with motorcycles.
Yeah.
It's an active prison.
Oh, yes, I know. I was actually there. Actually, it's a jail.
Yeah, and they're great. The sheriff.
Sheriff Donna Buckley is.
Oh, my Lord.
Went there a few weeks ago to do an Inside Cape Cod with her about her beautiful art project for the women. And it was just incredible.
It's incredible what goes on there.
And it's so clean. You could eat off the floor in that place.
And it should be,
and she's just unbelievable.
To allow 1,000 motorcycles to come.
Yes.
And, they set up the stage. It's very serious. In the beginning, we have speeches. We have our national anthem. We have prayers. We honor the fallen. We ring a bell 16 times after naming each name. It's very serious, very honorable. And then 1,000 motorcycles start up. And we get going, and we go along General MacArthur Boulevard to the Bourne Rotary. We go along the canal. And again, there's thousands of people standing and waiting and saluting, from babies to 100-year-olds. It's amazing. And we go through Bourne, Sandwich, Barnstable Village is packed. And then we come in Yarmouth, and that's Nick's hometown, and people are just so wonderful. And we go through DY High School under the giant American flag that's posted there with the ladder truck of the Dennis and Yarmouth Fire Departments.
It's beautiful.
It's amazing. And then we end up at Sea Dog's restaurant. And at that point, once we're there, we have a live band, we have food, and it's time to celebrate freedom.
And have a lot of fun doing it.
Yes, and honor the fallen, celebrate our freedom, be with friends. It's only $20 for all of that. And every penny goes into a fund, and every penny is given away. And we do it mostly on Nick's birthday. So on February 12th, we give away $35,000, and next year it'll be $36,000, one for every year of his life.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, we just give out money to people that need it and strengthen them, and that's our journey.
Sometimes that's all some people need. It's just a little bit of help, just a little bit of caring from somebody else.
Yes, and we've been recognized by all kinds of groups, and it's just pretty special. No one planned this. I wish, in a way, we didn't do it, because that would have meant we didn't lose Nick. But,
of course.
But there was a moment at the end of year 8. So Big Nick's Ride year 8 changed my thinking in a way. We ended, and I got off my motorcycle, and I was crying. There's thousands of people, and it's emotional. And a man who's a Gold Star dad, Paul Monty, he came up to me, and he said, "Steve, what's wrong?" And I said, "Paul, I just don't know why." And he said, "What do you mean, Steve?" I said, "Why did God do this? Why did God take Nick?" And this is Paul Monty. His son was killed in Afghanistan. And that song, "I Drive Your Truck" by Lee Brice is real. So his dad, Paul, drives his truck. It was in Big Nick's Ride.
Aww.
So he walked me over to the truck, and we sat on the tailgate. And he put his arm around me and looked me in the eyes. And he said, "Steve, I know why. God saw Nick doing good things, and he had to take him to do great things."
There you go.
And this heat went through my body, and he's right.
Yeah. And, I have to give it to the Cape Cod community. I really do. This year, or maybe end of last year, when the homeless gentleman died in Hyannis.
Yes.
And he was a veteran.
Yes.
And a call was put out to all the radio stations saying, please, can somebody please come? So my morning show partner, Doug, and I went, and our next door neighbor, who's a veteran, I couldn't believe the amount of people. And it was slightly raining.
Yes.
But the gun salute and
Yes.
just the amount of people. I just stood there in the rain and I was smiling. The tears were streaming down my
Yes,
face. I was so happy.
Yeah, it's the bittersweet feeling, right?
So many people
Yes.
showed up for this poor person.
Yeah, I was there. And
So you know, I really
oh,
remember how
I was
beautiful it was.
there.
Yes,
We
a
brought
lot of
our
people.
motorcycles. I was standing there, and there was that moment where his friend, who hadn't seen him in a long time,
Yep.
heard about it through the media, and he was the one that received his flag.
That's right. That is
Yeah.
correct. Right.
So-
'Cause our newsman Peter did it also.
Yeah, so we always say if you give Americans an opportunity to show their love and respect, they will.
It was just something. I mean, I'd heard it on the news all morning, and I was driving from Falmouth coming back on MacArthur Boulevard, and all of a sudden I just got this overwhelming. I said, "We have to go." It was odd. It was just
Yeah.
like, we have to go.
Yeah.
And then I called my neighbor, and he said, "Well, I was thinking of going anyway. I'll drive." And it was beautiful.
It is, and that's our only national cemetery in Bourne. There are 77,000 resting there. Those are hallowed grounds. My son, Nick, rests in Section 41, forever, age 21.
But this day is so important.
It is, and I encourage everyone to make a contribution if you can. $20, ride a motorcycle, hop on the back of someone else's.
And if you're a passenger, it's $20 also.
It's
but it's
fun. Yeah,
all
it's
for this.
very special. Every penny is given away, like nothing is kept. And you feel the love of country,
Yeah.
faith, family, friends, flag, freedom.
And all those people that a lot of them you don't even know. And
Absolutely.
it
And
doesn't
people have
matter.
told me what it's meant to them.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
had people tell me, Steve, I'm a Vietnam vet, and I can finally be proud again. When I see those bikes come by or when I ride in it, I'm proud because Vietnam
It was
veterans were treated badly.
Oh, they were treated horrifically.
And we want them to know that they're loved and respected from those days to today to 20, 50, 100 years from now.
Right.
We will honor our troops, especially the Gold Star families who
Yeah.
have made the ultimate sacrifice and have to live the rest of their lives without their loved one.
Yeah, I know. And my brothers were 4F. They had tachycardia, which they just started to recognize at that point because, they were drafting these kids and they were going through just the training and they were dropping dead and they couldn't figure out why. And then they found out. And so my brothers were not, but they had their best friends. A lot of them had gone. And I remember when one of them came back, he was still very sweet. He was one of the sweetest men. His name was Jimmy Capra. And he came back, but he just was not the same.
Yes.
Not the same after Vietnam. It was
Yeah.
just the greeting that they got coming home.
Yeah.
And it was just horrific.
And we will never let that happen again.
No,
never.
never.
And that's why, Big Nick's Ride, Blackbeard's Ride, which is another one. All these rides, these motorcycles come from all over. The farthest was New Zealand. A guy, he's a wonderful man. I had never met him. He flew to America. He met me. He said, Steve, I heard about Nick. And I wanted to come to America to ride a Harley in America. And I want to see how you treat your fallen.
There you
So
go.
we rode together, and then that night we always go to visit Nick at sunset. So you go from 1,000 motorcycles, thousands of people, to maybe 10, and we celebrate sunset. And he was with me, and he prayed on Nick's grave, and then he did a New Zealand war dance on Nick's
Really?
grave.
I just got goosebumps.
These are the things that happen. and
That
it's-
is incredible.
Yes.
I can almost see it.
Yes, I wish someone videoed it. I can't even describe it, but that's what happens. Like, we've had 2 weddings at Nick's grave. We've had an engagement.
Aw.
These are all his, Marine friends, and there's also the whole DY world and all those young men and women that were just kids,
Yeah.
and their friend didn't make it home, and they celebrate his life every day. It's really amazing.
It's incredible.
Yes.
And I love the way you talk about it because, you still, it's been 15 years, but you are the father of a
Yes.
fallen, and yet you're doing so much good. And Nick's Big Ride is an annual thing, as you
Yes.
said, and it's 15 years now.
Yes.
So the registration will begin at 7 a.m. Is that going to be at the Sheriff's Department?
Yes.
And that's 16,000 Sheriff's Place. She deserves that.
Yes, and it's right across from the National Cemetery.
Yes.
It's very easy, and and then if you can't make it there, come to Sea Dogs. That's the end. And
Or line the streets.
Yes, line the streets for sure. And then if you can come to Sea Dogs, we have a lot of gear there. We'll have this year all kinds of veteran support groups will be outside staged in the parking lot
Beautiful.
to offer their services, from the VA, federal VA, to Cape and Islands Veterans Outreach, to the Mass Military Support. All these groups that I've met in 15 years, we just have become a family.
Yeah.
And, I'm a state representative, and I'm proud of that. Like, I'm on these powerful committees that are designed to help others. And on this day, like, it brings it all together. And
Full circle.
It does. And then I'm able to give back. And that's what life is about.
And Nick is smiling. He's
I think
always
so.
smiling.
Yeah.
He is. So it's next Sunday. It is the 21st, and registration begins at 7 a.m. at the Barnstable County Sheriff's Office. It starts at 9.
Yes, we blast out at 10.
Yes.
And there's also wristbands that you can get them now. Riders like to get them now. They're early. That way you don't have to wait in line. Those are available at Cape Cod Harley Davidson, Cycle Services, Ace Hardware. If you stop in there, make a $20 contribution. You have your wristband, wear it on your left wrist like I am.
There you go.
And you're in.
Yes. The wristband, Cape Cod Harley Davidson, they're at 750 MacArthur Boulevard in Bocasset. And also Cycle Services is at 100 Ridgewood Avenue in Hyannis. And then Baskin's Ace Hardware is in Sandwich, Dennis, and Orleans.
Yes, we cover the Cape.
I wanted to make sure I got those exact
You did perfect.
addresses out there for you. And again, I love you so much for what you're doing and for everybody that has helped you.
Yes,
And that
God bless them.
there's a lot of people that go into
Yes.
organizing
Oh
this.
my God! From Kat Wilson to Don Roach to Jim Matthews, Laurel Bragg. The first one was Ben Perry, Rick Thompson. There's hundreds of people.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to do.
I know.
And when we do it, and when we're done, it's just an incredible feeling.
Yeah,
and
it's-
then to watch what happens afterwards. It's
Right.
just amazing.
And I love to have you on every year too to talk about it because I love to. I see your face light up when you talk
Yeah.
about Nick, and I can actually feel what you're feeling.
Yeah, thank you.
No,
It's
nice
it's
because
it's I'm trying to be as strong as I can and as proud as I can.
Oh, you don't need to be as proud as you can. You are a proud dad.
I am.
I can see
of
it.
all, and
All over your face.
Yeah, and Nick was the big brother that didn't come home. So
Right.
I have Alex, who's now a Yarmouth police officer.
Oh, congratulations for Alex.
He's
That's
a Yarmouth police
fantastic.
officer, a school officer. He loves doing it. He's giving back. And then
Sure.
I have my twins, Elizabeth and Ashlyn, who are in the service industry. They live in Maine. And remember, these are the siblings of the fallen.
Yes.
So Alex was 19, the twins were 15, and their brother
hard.
came home in a flag-draped coffin. So
It's very hard on
It's
the-
hard,
on the family.
mother, father,
Oh, gosh.
sister, brother,
Of course.
everyone. And we're a Gold Star family, and it's something no one really wants to be, but if you are,
You got to be proud.
that's right.
Exactly. Because so many wonderful young people have lost their lives defending this country and fighting for our country.
Our greatest country in the world. It's recognized all over the world, our American flag.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows it means freedom. And it comes at a price.
It
and
does.
it all started here in Massachusetts.
Yes, it did. Well, Representative Stephen Xiarhos, I'm going to have to let you go now, but because I know you have lots to do.
Yes.
But I appreciate it as always, my dear. Thank you so much for coming in. I still have the button that you gave me.
I have
for
something
Nick's-
else for you
Right.
too
Oh,
today,
no.
if you don't mind.
I don't
have
mind.
a wristband.
Oh, you do? I was just
do.
trying to figure out how to get to
Yeah.
Baskin's Hardware.
Oh, I got one.
Oh.
And then one of our Living the
Oh.
Dream. His last words were, "Mom, don't worry about me. I'm living the dream."
That's beautiful.
So
oh,
that's
my God.
for you. And a star. I cut out a star from an American flag to give to special people.
You're very sweet.
God
Thank
bless.
you. You
Yes.
got me. You got me. You got me again this year. You're making me cry.
That's like part of our mission.
But it's good tears.
It is.
Thank you so much, Stephen.
God
I will
bless.
wear this with honor.
God bless.
And that's going to do it for this edition of Inside Cape Cod, heard every Sunday morning at this time on all 4 of our Coxswain Media Stations. Until next time, I'm Mina Greene.